All right, at this time, I'd like to call the February 17th, 2022 regular meeting of the Common Council of the City of Plattsburgh to order at 5 p.m. Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Carlin, will you please conduct a roll call?
Mayor Overcliff.
Here.
Councilor Canales.
Here.
Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Councilor Gibbs.
Here.
Councilor Talon.
Here.
Councilor Buck. Here. Councilor Moore.
Here. All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the January 20th, 2022 regular meeting. No worries. There are no additions, deletions, or corrections. I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Motion by Councilor Bob, second by Councilor Canales. Any changes, alterations, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carried. We're going to go a little bit out of order, folks. I do need to ask for a motion to go into executive session to talk about the employment of a particular person.
Motion.
Motion by Councilor Canales, second by Councilor Bop. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're now in executive session.
Congratulations. Thanks. No, the abatement guys are working in the evenings. The interior guys are working sometimes during the day, sometimes during the evening. Probably a few days after the boat carrying the invoice goes down, so I'll be back. Wow. They're on the boat right now, so on the boat. Hopefully they don't have any trouble. He's sitting at the back for a while. Yeah, now they're going to Quebec. That's even worse. Yeah. Hopefully the truckers won't. The truckers won't take. They're coming down. There's no truckers. These folks. I don't think they changed those. Don't touch parties. Yeah. I can see. Yes. Raise it back again. I can't believe that. It's very inconvenient. Back in the day, they used to just go and shoot everybody up. What? Everybody. It's kind of their gender world. Plus everybody's got a cell phone. There you go. Can't say you didn't see this one.
This was over there. From, I don't know if it was from your planning board meeting.
Your
It
voice
was
is
just
on
saying.
Valley.
It wasn't.
So it's like a satirical thing about the hedge fund culture. There's
Oh, no, yeah.
a billionaire.
It was last week, yeah.
Being
It's Tuesday,
protested
right?
by-
On Monday, no, Monday. You guys are.
Shit out.
Monday.
And he's sitting up in his office.
And see, your voice is.
His life is full of lawyers behind him.
And then You wouldn't have to run to-
Exactly what happened. When I was playing this issue out weeks ago, I was like, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
That's
so
right, that's exactly right. And then all of a sudden,
Literally, you didn't have any of your report.
I don't have anything on and, but I still don't like to miss them, right?
I needed to change the answer, but I said that.
This one?
Yes.
You thought it was changed, didn't you?
He wouldn't do that. Because his fingers would be broken. There, no, listen to that.
Show me this one. You know, it might be fun as a you can turn off the speaker on the executive session. So I'll listen into that one.
Yeah.
Send that to me. I'm gonna put that on my phone. It's my picture of you when you call me.
Risks today.
My phone is daughter's app.
Well, it's two.
It's
Oh, you guys, did you get your fantasy nights mixed up? Well, no, I had one.
You have like Santa's angry self, like.
She got like a half a Christmas, it was too small, I had a big fat head. So I said, I'll fix it for you, he's like.
It's the only time I can see hair on Michael's head.
What kind of conditioner do you use?
See, that's what I like.
Hey, he's bald by choice, Sean.
Yeah, actually.
He's been involved by twisting.
60, actually. And you're why I'm angry.
There's another show on HBO, where there's a daughter and every time her father calls her, the face that pops up on her phone is Saddam Hussein.
Nope.
I just wondered, I was looking.
I have a friend who used to say, oh, it's the War Department.
That's why,
Do you think it's lunch with something?
and, so.
I've heard from,
That's not it.
over the years, I've heard from his sister, I think, who's still here, that, you know,
Esther,
they got that house up there.
yeah, on Motion Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, yeah.
Yeah, so I've talked to her over the years a couple of times about housing issues there.
She was my son.
Oh, yeah?
I was just-
40 years.
The
Everybody's been doing Caesar angry.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Sending us your class.
Remember, like, she couldn't say word, but she was in class. So that she was there when I was in college. And she was my.
Oh.
You know, kindergarten teachers want warm and fuzzy. So I. And she was, you know, she. Just the whole year and all the other kids were over here. How old? 5? So she's mad because of the so I yelled at her, don't go. I'm like, I'm not, you know, I tell you, so we're at home. I'm not having to stress about it.
Yeah, no, you can't have kids stress, feel the pressure of that.
Yeah, it's kindergarten. So then, we did pictures of like 10 years, he's coming around. I'm like, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, we all had those.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Oh,
I don't know what became of him.
I know, I was wondering what he was gonna do, like, because he was like, algebra, math, you know, that kind of stuff, so I'm thinking it would be something scientific or energy and engineers. Or
Probably did.
he helped me with geometry, because I was, like, I could not figure out geometry. He helped me.
I was just thinking about something the way I was.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
I
I
didn't
mean,
go to college, so I went to St.
I
Joe's.
guess reading and writing, and, but I'm still learning. I mean, just before, still learning. No. Proper grammar.
Yeah.
Colon, semicolon, you don't have to. I mean, I know most of that stuff, but I feel like I'm.
When I type in an email, I'm constantly, especially if it's.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch that. Like that punctuation.
Nouns, proverbs, I mean, you really need that stuff. Most people. I guess I'm here.
So. I never said, I think that is supposed to be fun.
But, okay, so typing is probably a good example. You still need to type 60 words a minute. You know.
Well, not now, I don't think anybody's, well, I guess maybe people that are doing transcripts and stuff are lawyers.
Yeah.
Things like that.
But as far as secretaries. or-
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I do a lot of typing, that's why I always ask for everything in word form. So,
No, not anymore. Google Docs.
Oh, I know. I keep putting, the shared file for the meetings, for my, he's like, where are those? I said, I put them in there, they were not, where did you find them? Like,
I love the fact though that I can type something in Word and then I can go into Google Documents and select it and it'll convert it to Google.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why I don't really use Google Docs. I can do it in Word and then convert
So
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I just, that's why I do the agenda and stuff.
That's.
I have to, I've been trying to do those tutorials, but it takes a little bit, they're like, some of them are 20 minutes, and I don't have 20 minutes.
Did you get the email from Christie about that?
Yes.
Yeah, they're working on that. Oh,
I
yeah.
sent it to Paul, and he wrote, Paul wrote her back.
But they just keep sending her, like, she's like, I don't have time to solve the problem.
I think they said, somebody was having trouble with something, and they had her.
Well, there's an issue I'm gonna have because when I go out to the survey, my points from that, I have to convert it to a CSV file. I have to use Excel to do that. And I can't, I haven't found a way that I can do that with the Gmail, the Google version. So I may have to, and that's the only way I can sort of modify my points
Right.
before I put them in auto.
And scan.
I figured you should use a Chromebook.
We have some stuff,
Yeah, throw them in the garbage.
we have some here.
Right, do you? Actually, if you do, we should grab one from Thomas. For sure.
Oh, you didn't know it?
What's that?
Can I grab one of that?
Yeah, Carl's got them, I'll get one, he's just playing.
Good, please.
I don't know how to do anything, do you know how to?
Yeah, I know.
figure or
They've
whatever?
been handing out laptops.
Whatever, they're confused, and I don't know how to. Like,
Yeah, because you just log into it and he uses it for PDFs for our mapping.
Oh, okay.
So when it goes to a job, site, we'll map it.
Yeah, those are, I mean, I think they'd be good for that.
Yeah, yep, that's
I
all
told
we
you
do.
that before, like, when I try to remote it from home, it takes forever.
Yeah.
And it says my Wi-Fi is weak, but it's fine. All my other stuff I have, oh my, my iPad.
Chromebook is.
The audio, like I did it.
Right, it's terrible.
The audio was bad. And I went, I should have put phone.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It's kind of nice for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike is doing this, nobody's even saying anything.
How is that any different or listen?
That's not nice. I shouldn't say that.
You have to go back to the old.
People are just really tired.
So, no, it's-
Like Carlos and I, just get tired. It's okay.
Well, okay, so if you were a teacher, that means he can't have been retired too long.
No.
But I know people like Bill Clinton from St. John's, they graduated with. That guy's been retired for a long time. I can't even remember When he was still working.
The guy's been retired for 8 or
Is he
9
was a
years.
police?
Billy?
Yeah, Billy must have retired two thousand
It's not fair.
and 12, maybe, right?
Yeah,
14?
that's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So he must have got invited at 20. How old did you go in? 19?
Boston P.
Yeah.
He's just a pig. Oh,
Yeah.
My husband's the only one left in his parents. And they're all retired. Oh, no, he's in.
Yeah, but I got a year.
we're about to go.
Did you count that? Are you ready to count that yet?
Once I get past my anniversary date, which is beginning of March, until inside of a year.
And when did you start? When you were 20, high school?
Oh, no, I was. Here?
Yeah.
It's 26 or something.
Oh,
The team mascot is the governor, so after I put the fear guy, once I get inside of a year, I gotta get to. It's actually like.
Yeah.
But it's not all schools normal schools. I can't imagine. I was thinking normal, keep me on my dream back. It's just
Normal versus
special.
special.
I don't know. Everybody's got so much access to. Especially having that.
well, and four, 5 years, right? So I'm not saying that, who knows what's correct?
Yeah.
Seems like, yeah, annoying because who knows how much longer that presents.
How many years have you done?
And, so,
Redistricting
Not-
maps. Start-
although I started 2009.
It's 13.
So, yeah,
So more than 10.
yeah, I see, get through, and then one more.
Now?
Yeah.
So you're looking for 20.
Because I came here.
That's fine though, you know, it gets you closer to social security. like,
Yeah.
You know, so. Yes.
My husband's 4 years older, so he's planning to retire.
9 years. So
Yeah, he's planning to retire at 62, so he'll be 59 this year. So he's going in 4 years.
That one?
Or so he'll sell.
Only 1920. So.
It's nice to travel. Yeah, we traveled for 4 years. Oh, thank you. Who's gonna cook me dinner? She gets dinner.
Oh, normal schools. Intended to set a pattern and establish a. Normal. After which all of this. Yeah, yeah. Sounds a little.
What, 1920s Tennessee?
I know abnormal.
That was my favorite class.
Is that deviance 101?
Everything seemed to fit. They told me I couldn't get a degree at just that. I asked.
You check the, you looked at their work.
They're set up right outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday, I was here till 4:30, 4:40. It was so windy. I'm like, you know, how would they not
And you
call
just popped in, thank you.
it? They must have to tell us.
Feel pretty good about it. We were retired. We worked hard for that title. $5 a month. 55. 85.
300 a month, 6 people saying that. And what was the world class?
So then it's not my fault, your building's stick frame, just the reason they make dogs out of cinder block. Driving is-
Judge made this.
And I remember $25.
Yeah. So you just.
My one roommate tried to claim in court that every all the vandals was due to a break-in. And the judge said, well, looking at the pictures, looks like the door was kicked from the inside out.
Somebody said.
Yeah. We were trying to escape the vandals.
They came in through the roof.
They were fierce.
I
Yeah,
think they're gonna have.
They came in through the roof like that.
each other going to Ben Jackson, we never seen it.
They're not.
We tried to lock them in. They kicked their way out. Judge, you're shaking your head there.
No.
No, that's my, I thought that was a skating area. So is my wife goes to with my daughter?
That was unintentional.
There's other people. I got just more separate full. I don't like it. Oh, you know, it looks. My first one, I hardly ever use it. It looks a lot like. Picking out. Select
I
all.
tried, I did. I've tried, but you know, I only do it on the iPad, so maybe I have to sign into a. But it's terrible,
So how's your over under doing?
but I think it's just for me, it's just learning. And it's different. It wasn't, because everybody at top said they like these.
That went up by 45.
Are you guys betting on it?
No, we're betting on something bad.
No, because I want to get, I was gonna say, oh, I'll tell you where they are, if it's not the right place, then you guys will win. No, they're in the old council chambers.
They're having to shout out for all the boxes.
Yeah, exactly. I said, I didn't think they'd be long because you can't sit down.
And the bolts are. That's the difference. That's today. My hands are in my ears because I can't even.
You're doing for all this.
Oh, you're gonna toss one on the bonfire. That's gonna be next year's tender.
It's gonna be.
I was gonna say, you're gonna sell
Huh?
them? Can the city, like, put them in an auction?
Nah, it's all scrap.
They're all, it's.
This?
Unless they're all covered in asbestos.
They're all asbestos and lead.
Yeah, so lead and probably some
PCBs,
Wash your hands, but.
Don't let me forget PFOAs. Not to mention the things.
The CDBs.
Did I tell you when?
We'll all be lucky if that's what we got.
In the mayor's office, oh,
What's
this
that?
big display board.
PCBs?
So he wanted me to pass this in. Wanted that off, or how- They took it off. I think Sean did it, well, there was like this red stuff coming out, and I'm like, nobody's sure, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I started Googling, how long do you have to live after the?
20 to 40 year lease.
Yeah. And I showed my gosh, you were in this, design, what is this? It doesn't look like, it's-
Full of same.
so then he came in and said, it's the red brick, there's.
Oh,
bricks.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, ah.
Yeah, there's
I'm very
cookie in the classroom.
Yeah,
That's why it's so hard to screw in. Talk about virtual classrooms.
Just saying, I gotta notice.
Did they pick out your voice?
Yeah, there's some shocker. So asbestos has a 20 to 40 year latency period, so right before you even pick it up, you'll notice, they'll notice if they do an X-ray or scan of the lungs. And then who knows how long after that.
Thank you, I need to know.
It's not a very good way to go.
You start counting hundreds of lives. You're sleeping on the couch.
Bills.
Oh, there's stuff.
In the
Where's Ruff tonight?
pump room,
Surprised he didn't show up to the meeting.
John Ruff?
I think he's working at the food shop tonight.
He's at the church praying.
How many heart attacks was that for you, Paul? Oh, I think so, Baker's house before. It's bad, brother. United at
Quiet, it's hard to hear.
Be quiet is worse than the talking, because people don't.
What? It's enough for them to float.
This is get the crumbs off my belly.
Comes on. Yeah. Just show my face.
Yeah.
Andrew, did you get all those documents?
Yes, it did.
Make sure
Thank
I
you. Yep.
delivered them.
You left them on my desk for me.
We have to do that for every meeting of this.
Yeah, so every time the mayor switches, you have to have a new resolution that authorizes that mayor to sign documents.
Oh, do it
So
all
we did-
over again.
Yeah, we did that as soon as Chris came in. But then, not paying attention to the cover page, they needed 80 copies and I only sent them one original.
Yeah.
Copies, I said that, because I need to do the sticker on this, but because they're gonna get rejected, you know, maybe. So, I go, okay. Try to save trees.
Yes. Y'all remember we spent the wedding
Yeah,
this year?
for the third time, yeah, this year
Oh, good.
in September.
Like how many consecutive days?
Now my middle daughter, right, has
Why would you say that?
gotten engaged.
What's wrong with Rich? Could you slap him?
Did you have a sign in the office?
I'm telling you right now, I get a call tonight, I am gonna call you over.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, why didn't you join us?
274 days.
It's like, you really got a GP, you know, being for safe without.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't say it.
The dreaded announcement.
Hey, I don't, the server,
Otherwise, don't even say that.
it's not that
Beautiful.
important.
Announcement for the altar. Well, it's just a 4-foot putt in about 2 months.
Yeah, there you go.
Bang.
It's important to a lot.
He's automatic for sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah. The dreaded announcement.
He hasn't missed a free throw in weeks.
Well, that happened to me, I played,
Never said it.
I never guessed him alone. For being my dad, and I threw out that goal, I didn't miss a thing. It's like 3 feet, and the guy just, you're automatic.
It couldn't make one.
No. a challenge.
I had my dad and two
So I
friends,
said,
so
like,
tournaments, I'm real particular about that.
Good for her dress.
And, Rip a ball, goes skyrocket, it takes her hard right, I'm like, oh my gosh, and then go, like we talked. I was in it for one ball, because I sliced so hard, and I was in green, and all I was supposed to. I just had such a.
Oh, he wants to,
Yeah. And Revolution like a game of a few years ago. One little. So that's sort of fun. Especially the bonus.
It's more fun to play with local watching shots. We have huge fades and huge hoops, you know, taking it straight to the floor. Friends growing up, had this slice that you could fix, and we were not really good, so we just started aiming like 4 feet darts to the left. Yeah, sure. It's tough when you're in a narrow shoot type of a hole.
I found that's when I ripped one straight or something.
That's
how I hit one straight.
That's when you get an 8-iron.
Just smooth, easy swing. It's classic.
Yeah, it's good. Perfect timing of which. I don't know that. I haven't seen that. Effortless power. Michael would be power curious.
Mine too. That sounds fine.
Yeah. Have to make up for it with chipping.
Yes.
I know, same here. So is there a requirement that you have to keep the camera microphone rolling up there?
Chipping, putting trash down.
It's open.
I prefer a full contact.
I have a little sign that says we're in executive session up front. We can still-
No, there's no, biggest compliment I ever got. There's no actual, no discussion.
Right, but it's the reception. You have to make sure
You shut it down.
that everybody comes here for.
Not only that, but you got 2 different videos for one meeting.
Okay, so that's that coming from.
Yeah, you can't pause this and then restart it.
This is course on the drive home, place where I played baseball or anywhere else growing up.
Why you complicate
First
it?
team, drive by, so,
You know, I just learned how to do
it
this
is
with
like-
a share that says we're in executive session.
Yeah.
That's as much as I can.
Yeah, that's my. Talked to Joe, he did the meeting where somebody was telling me that they were watching it. When we shared the document, it wasn't a split screen. Couldn't see the board.
Oh, you're gonna, when you're on Zoom, if you share the screen,
You won't see the
we're
board.
just gonna see the screen.
No, there was a way though that we had a split screen.
Well, you can see them, they're just a little bit there. Like if you go look now, that's how, you can see now. Do I see? So that's what I did, I put the document up.
Yeah.
Saying they were in the executive session.
So.
I think this is what it looks like when they're on. But maybe I'm wrong, I think that's how you watch it.
We can check, but also, when you bring this up in that bottom corner, that's a couple of settings. We had a zoning meeting. We could have that on the screen.
So you can see.
No, not even close.
Not even close
that.
The prince, like princes. That's not even princes.
Now you're getting close to 6, 7, 4.
But yeah, I don't know if they're just, what you could put.
Almost seemed like that.
Just like six.
Or before that.
That's what they see at home. Or a little.
I love how you
I can tell what time it is when you're in the office, because it's like 5 minutes to 3, it's like.
Pretty quiet. Because we've been there since 6.
Exactly.
Should order a pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? He's going all the way down below.
We have an overlap, the night shift now.
But yeah, it's in the winter time.
Did they say how much longer?
Is that right? That's what somebody told me.
It's not with daylight.
Do me a favor, both go ahead in there and say, Andrew's wondering how much longer.
You just get hungry. Think about ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
Exactly. Zachary stopped doing their wing night a couple weeks ago. We still every Wednesday. 50-cent wings. It's up, next to the end of the office.
Oh, yeah.
Does it taste like when we were kids? Is it the same recipe like Zachary?
You know, the pizza bar has a similar
Or does it?
pizza. to what
Yeah.
Jerry's used to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah,
I always liked it.
like about pizza bar. Up there, you can bring your own beer. They don't serve beer, but they let you bring your own.
Good.
That's
Like food you get low.
Wow.
Last one
at
day.
least they do it.
What about the hard liquor? We got some.
I don't know if they try it. I don't think they do. Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's really good. Roast. It's not good.
Apparently, that's not what I did.
No.
Apparently, it's not that. That's not very certain.
Had some stuff in it. Felt like you're pouring lava in that.
It's like, it's coming out like hot. Mexican. It's happening. Not at the table, Carlo. It is. Guess I'm moving.
5:41, you lose. Sir,
Why didn't?
she said after 5:41.
No. Somebody.
We're coming out of executive session. There was no action taken in executive session. I'll take a motion to come out of executive session. Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Kelly. All in favor? I will now entertain a motion to approve the mayor's handing down of a provisional appointment of police chief to Nathan H. York, effective immediately per the compensation schedule set forth in the local law and in conformance with civil service law. Motion?
Just quick point of order, we should do it. Well, that we need a rule 4 motion.
Motion to rule 4 to introduce this. Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
One in the opposition. I'll now take a motion to entertain the mayor's handing down of a provisional appointment of police chief to Nathan H. York, effective immediately per the compensation schedule set forth in local law and in conformance with civil service law. Motion by Counselor Pop, second by Counselor Canales. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Buck?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
I usually weigh in on just about everything, but I just don't feel I have enough information at this time, so I'm abstaining. I don't feel I have information to
Abstaining or no, please?
abstain.
Abstain. 4 yeses, 1 noes, 1 abstention, motion carries. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we ask that you please state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will begin 5 minutes to address the council.
Good evening. My name is Darren Parati. My address is 328 Patton Road, Peru, New York. Many of you know me. Some of you may not have met me directly, but until yesterday, I was a lieutenant with the Plattsburgh Police Department. I'm here tonight to read this letter in conjunction with my official resignation from the city, where I've served this community with honor, integrity, and dedication for the past 14 years of my life. I've accepted a position as the chief of police for the village of Saranac Lake. My resignation is in no way a reflection of the agency or the outstanding and dedicated men and women of the Plattsburgh Police Department. My departure has far more to do with the callous lies and mistruths being propagandized to further political agendas and serve as payback for past differences. I have bled blue since I donned the uniform in 2008 and have always aspired to one day lead the brave men and women of the Plattsburgh Police Department. However, that dream has been taken away because a select group, in an attempt to further their own agendas, have used terms like culture change, good old boys club, and corruption irresponsibly spread by an unprofessional media organization. Ask yourself why that is. There will no doubt be allegations, accusations, and further mistruths spread about this great agency to the detriment of its outstanding employees. The truth is, I left because my talents were recognized and appreciated by another municipality, and they have asked me to lead the men and women of their police department to provide their community with the same great public safety service the community of Plattsburgh has come to expect from me as an officer and more recently as a police administrator. The skills they recognized in me were provided by the Plattsburgh Police Department in no small part and are a direct reflection of the quality that has come to be expected from the Plattsburgh Police Department. Make no mistake about it, the police department is under attack, but not by a group of violent criminals and thugs. They're under attack for political gain. Why were the accomplishments of myself and Lieutenant Trombley squandered or sold as other ideas? The mayor touted the accomplishments of all the city departments except the PD. Ask yourself why. Perhaps because he didn't want credit given to the people that accomplished them, like Lieutenant Trombley and I. The mayor talks about culture change and needing to get away from the good old boy network, yet already offered the position to someone in the department. Make no mistake about it, this isn't about culture change, it's about control. I have personally sat in meetings and listened to phone conversations, been a part of emails, and worked alongside Lieutenant Jared Trombley and accomplishing so many things that I don't have time to list them here tonight. We checked off many of the items presented by the police review panel and implemented new policies and procedures to adapt to the 21st century model for policing, as well as the E203 mandates, but yet the mayor claims he hasn't been running the department. Lieutenant Trombley ran the department since the day we became lieutenants, every day running the agency. I've worked countless hours alongside Lieutenant Trombley. We've worked days, nights, weekends, called in at any hour to deal with various incidents, personnel issues, and other management tasks far outside the scope of being a police lieutenant. The mayor wants to act as the police chief, but when it's time to make a decision, we call him only to give him the solution to the problem for him to bless it. That's not leading, that's just affirming that we are the professionals. I recall as a sergeant when the mayor came to speak to my shift when he was seeking election, he claimed he was not a micromanager and allowed the professionals to run their own agencies. Well, Lieutenant Trombley and I are the professionals that have been doing that. Many of you know this, and I urge you to stand up for what is right. So in closing, I leave with no ill will towards any of you, the city of Plattsburgh, the great community which I have sworn to protect for the last 14 years, or the members of its police department that I consider family. Quite the opposite. I leave with sadness in my heart for the mistreatment they are receiving at the hands of this administration. I thank you all for your time and welcome anyone with questions to reach out and contact me. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else in the audience who'd wish to come and speak to the council? Seeing none, I'll now go to committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a counselor. I'll now call upon that chairperson of each committee, starting with city operations, Councilor Bach.
We had a couple things in our recent meeting that will be on the agenda tonight. Basically just regular business, fishing tournament stuff, so that'll be great when that comes back to town. We've got a contract we're looking at for archiving our social media content, since we have learned that that is subject to FOIL requests. And we are also authorizing the various Strand street closures. Another thing that was discussed during the meeting, Councilor Gibbs raised the point of, the city making a more concentrated campaign for, certain events such as Black History Month and other important monthly events, like maybe stop domestic violence and things like that, ways that the city could help promote these things. So that's something we want to continue to explore in city operations and with Courtney.
Absolutely. And I know that there was a question about the IT report that will come out tomorrow, and I'll obviously make myself available for any questions on that. There's also a question on ClearGov and the implementation. Again, I'll get with Richard and provide you an update with that tomorrow as well. Okay, thank you. Finance and Economic Development, we have two items on tonight's agenda, 7.27 and 7.28 for council consideration. We had Richard come to the meeting. Subsequent to that meeting, we met with Councilor Gibbs to talk about the report and some other additional concerns, as well as more reports that the city uses to make decisions. City Infrastructure Council.
We had our first meeting of the year this past week. We brought forth several recommendations to the council. Want to thank Public Works for cutting the trees back. I guess he just got a big assist from Mother Nature with the big help, but that's great. We're ready for more snow, which I'm sure we're going to get. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Public Safety Councilor Canales.
President's Day is on Monday, so we'll be having our meeting on Tuesday. Besides that, nothing else to report.
We'll now move on to liaison reports. Plattsburgh Public Library, Councilor Talon.
So the first meeting I attended was January 25th, and the library is doing pretty well with moving away from plastic bags by wrapping books in legal size paper. So they're doing their part to help the environment there. So our next meeting is going to be next Tuesday.
Thank you. Plattsburgh Municipal Lighting Department, Councilor Gibbs.
So we, I met with Bill Tracy and John Ruff, and they had drafted an electronic vehicle policy last year. So we met and discussed it. I'm going to be doing some more research, and then I'd like to be able to circulate the policy among council to get your feedback. So you've been looking for that. Hopefully, over the next couple of weeks, I'd like to be able to discuss it by the time we have our NLD meeting at the end of March. In conjunction with that, Mayor, I'd like to do just a quick follow-up. Rochelle Armstrong emailed you regarding the Climate Smart Committee, and it's basically a defunct committee now.
Sorry.
The Climate Smart work that she had started before she left,
yes.
And your email to her said that you had managers working on various components of that.
Yep.
Would you be able to have the managers provide a report to the council about what Climate Smart actions have been done, and just to keep us updated?
Yeah, and just to give a little background on what they're doing, it's more of a measurement, a baseline measurement of those Climate Smart caveats, and I will work with Matt Miller's office to get that to you.
Thank you. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Teller, any staff member reports? No special committee reports at this time. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the payrolls of various city departments for the weeks ending February 16th, 2022, in the amount of $61,223.52. Councilor Kelly, second by Councilor Pop. Roll call.
Councilor Canales?
Yes.
Councilor Kelly?
Yeah.
Councilor Gibbs?
Yes.
Councilor Talon?
Yes.
Councilor Bob?
Yes.
Councilor Moore?
Carried.
Sorry?
Yes. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the bills audited by the Common Council for the weeks ending February 18th, 2022, in the amount of $457,622.66. Motion by Councilor Bob, second by Councilor Kelly. Roll call.
Councilor Canales?
Yes.
Councilor Kelly?
Yeah.
Councilor Gibbs?
Yes.
Councilor Talon?
Yes.
Councilor Bob?
Yes.
Councilor Moore?
Yes.
Carried. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that the majority of the resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads. We're now taking action in large part due to the recommendation of those committees. And Ms. Carlin, will you please read the title of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 3.15, authorizing drinking water infrastructure improvements project, CDM Smith Amendment 4, Phase 1, Water filtration plant emergency generator design.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Moore, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.16, authorizing bond issuance to pay for the cost of water distribution system improvement.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Moore, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yeah.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.17, authorizing bid award recommendations, sodium hypochlorite for the WRF and WFP contract WRF 2022-01.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bott, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yeah.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.18, authorizing revising capital fund 85110.79 2021 equipment purchase.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bott, discussion.
What is this for? What's the equipment that's being purchased? For, is this for the,
Cost of the truck was going up 23,000, so we had to modify the capital project. First item that's on. From 105 and it's got to go for 108.
And the
what
cost-
department is this for? I forget. The department, who's, okay, okay.
They didn't order last year in the price of county.
You're welcome. Yeah. Motion by Counselor Canales. Did we take a motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we were in discussion. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.19, authorizing revising capital project 85110.84 2022 street resurfacing.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Mayor,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do have some questions about it. I wonder why the cost of St. John Street, LeBlanc Lane, Hartwell Street have gone up since, is it just the price of asphalt going up or?
So
Yeah, man, please.
The capital budget is just as a budget, and we don't have the rates from the county for, we have the asphalt rate for what we call asphalt escalation clause. We also have the rates for the wages and equipment. And those, we got the 20 new rates for this year. So basically, we find the estimate.
Fuel costs have a lot to do with the price of asphalt.
And depending on how the economy goes and what the price of fuel is, obviously fuel is close to $4 a gallon right now. Richard, in his previous career, worked at quarry and he understands cost escalation on fuel, and there's a clause where that could escalate. Now, we do have a line in that called miscellaneous paving, where if we go over a fuel price, we also go to the miscellaneous paving for the asphalt material. The wages and the equipment costs will stay the same, but asphalt costs could increase. Or it actually can increase to that.
Then another question is about Bridge Street. Why was that added to the 2022 capital plan?
A couple reasons. Number one needs to be done. The mayor did ask us to take a look at that one. And we thought it, particularly by the DMV area where the road test is, we had an issue there. We did have a claim where someone ran up onto a curb there because of a tall curb hill. It's the city, we had said they claimed it was a pothole, but it was actually they ran into a tall curb.
Okay, well, I think the good news is that even with the increased cost, it looks like CHIPS is going to pay for it. The general fund amount stays the same.
Yeah, we have plenty of chips. We did the RFP, we haven't even gotten our allotment for this year. We won't get it until I think 2 months out. So we'll still have a balance of about $1 million of paving or
Touring, yep. And from the executive budget, touring routes is going to be funded again this year. CHIPS, EW and Pave New York are funded at the same levels as they were restored last year. So we're looking to gain a little bit more infrastructure funds for street pavings. The bottleneck that we're running into are people available to do the work, to be honest. Like, it's not the money, it's the people available to do the work. And so we'll keep adding projects as we did last year. We'll keep adding projects to this list as time and resources allow, and as much as these guys want to do the work, always willing to do the work. And so we'll just keep Councilor Moore's committee updated on progress.
So one other thing not related to this, but I just thought of it. Beekman Street is still on the list for study in 2022.
Yeah,
Correct.
so I can give you a quick update on Beekman Street. We actually have flooring locations this week, look for depth of ledge, because we are going to do a section of water line there that's from 1918. So that is ongoing in the design phase. So we did do floorings. The designer is putting something together for us to take a look at on paper here within probably the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, sir. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Collins?
Yes.
Council Bob? Yes. Council Moore?
Yeah,
Carried.
Item 7.20, authorizing and advising capital project H8320.82, 2021 water system improvement.
Motion, Councilor Canales, second by Councilor Bop. Discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Collins?
Yes.
Council Bob? Yes. Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.21, authorizing and inviting capital project H5110.83, 2022 equipment purchase.
Motion, Councilor Canales, second. Councilor Bop. Discussion.
Yeah, so, this was an infrastructure meeting, now, is there some sort of a plan to have these, refuse totes for like every residence in the city of Plattsburgh, or I was a little confused with what we were
Yep.
talking about.
Eventually, yes. Right now, what we're looking at is when people start change service, we'll swap out their bin for a standardized bin. Or if somebody requests a bin, we will provide them with a bin if they already have one and they want the 96-gallon tote. We'll provide a bin. The whole idea, as Councilor Moore can probably expound on a little bit more, is the consistency and size of these bins. Sometimes they overflow. Anybody can go to Lowe's and pick up a bin on their own. And it's just the nature of having a smaller bin with a lot of garbage that creates an eyesore in places like Center City, and not just Center City, but everywhere else in the city. But the notion is that, yes, if you want a tote, we'll bring one out to you.
Okay, so, so that would be for people who wanted them, and people who wanted to use their own totes who don't have that much garbage, they could still continue to do so.
They can, but eventually we will want to go to a standard tote because we have equipment that can hook onto the tote, give a little bit, alleviate the workers from like picking the bins up and trying to put them in the back, which some totes don't have. Some totes are just the big round ones that, you know, we've got workers that have to pick them up and they're quite heavy. But we do have equipment on some trucks where you can hook a standardized tote to the back and it will tip the garbage in for you. So eventually we do want to have all of our garbage service customers on that standardized tote.
Okay, I just wanted to.
Yeah,
get
no
some
doubt.
more.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Collins?
Yes.
Council Bob? Yes. Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.22, authorizing bond issuance to pay for the cost of the purchase of equipment for construction and maintenance purposes.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Collins?
Yes.
Council Bob? Yes. Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.23, authorizing revising capital project H5110.85, 2022 public service building.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Kelly, discussion. I will say that this, I do appreciate the consideration for this. It's much needed. Anybody who does walk up the steps of City Hall realizes that there's holes big enough that swallow little babies. And we want to get those fixed. No little babies in City Hall, or falling through the cracks anyway. So we do want to get those fixed, but I will also note, please enjoy the beautiful LED lights that are
Yes.
being installed in City Hall. If you walk out there, the colors of the mural, you can actually see them. That in addition to the window project led by the CDO office, and I'm sorry, Sylvia's not here anymore, but Sylvia's organizing the lights. So there's a number of projects that are happening simultaneously in City Hall right now. And just really appreciate the efforts to kind of revitalize the heartbeat of city government. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.24, authorizing bond issuance to pay for the cost of the 2022 public service building.
Motion. Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.25, mayoral planning board appointment.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob, roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.26, authorize the mayor to sign the New York State Low Income Household Water Assistance Program, LIHWA vendor agreement.
At the end. Yeah, motion, Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Kelly. Discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.27, authorizing revising capital project H5110.86, 2022 street resurfacing two.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.28, award of right of way and contract survey and traffic analysis for
Motion, Counselor Kelly, second by Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.29, authorizing the mayor to sign various fishing tournament agreements.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bob. I will now entertain a motion to amend this resolution to add East Coast Watercross, July 30th to 31st, 2022. Motion by Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. I'll now call the question, the original motion on the floor. Any discussion? Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob? Yes.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.30, approve contract with Archive Social for social media archiving.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bob. Discussion. Roll call.
Well, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Can you explain this a little more to me?
Yeah.
Not clear about what exactly this.
Absolutely. So it is the responsibility of city government to archive our documents, right? Just like we do email, just like we do finalized reports. The obligation is no different with social media. We do have an obligation to archive social media, not only just our own posts, but also comments that are made on our social media channels. Part of this is a tool that will follow our social channels and archive that for us as part of our responsibility for FOIL requests.
For example, like the city website. would you-
More like the city Facebook page, say like if, if we post something on the city Facebook page and somebody comments on it, and that comment becomes something we have to archive, we're responsible as municipal government to archive that information. In case somebody comes back and says, hey, by the way, you had somebody say something on your social media page and I want that information. We have to, as a government, provide that. And we don't have any tools. This would be the tool to be able to capture that information and then be able to report on it.
Basically what they established is that like the social media themselves, such as Facebook or Twitter, their archiving isn't reliable enough. Like, let's say I made a comment, but then I go back and say, it couldn't necessarily be found. So it's something that's archiving in real time.
Okay, well, this wasn't clear. on what this is.
Yeah, we got to sort it out too.
Forgot to ask the question. Okay,
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.31, authorizing various 2022 strange street closures.
Motion by Counselor Bott, second by Counselor Canales. Discussion. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.32, authorizing discontinuance of property assessment case filed by Tall Pine Estates LLC.
Motion. Counselor Kelly, second by Counselor Canales. Discussion. Yes.
we missed this. What
Yeah,
was
this is an added at the end. This is a discontinuous of an Article 7 filed by the city. Filed to the city by a property owner. The discontinuance is such that the property owner, an Article 7, by the way, is just a tax certiorari proceeding where they're arguing their tax bill. They have discontinued that argument, and this is an acceptance of that discontinuance.
Oh,
Yeah, so essentially they're just gonna pay the bill.
excellent.
Motion.
You did that already.
Oh, sorry. Roll call.
Council Canales?
Yes.
Council Kelly?
Yes.
Council Gibbs?
Yes.
Council Talon?
Yes.
Council Bob?
Yes.
Council Moore?
Yes,
Carried. No need for executive session. For new business, I will introduce and announce the public hearing on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2022 at 5 PM for local law, adding Article 2 entitled Best Value Competitive Bidding and Procurement to Chapter 64 Finances of the City Code of the City of Plattsburgh, New York. That's no motion, no second. It's an announcement for a local, introducing the public hearing to local law. And then we have a copy of it to hand out to everybody. Any new business come for the council? Seeing none, I'll now take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Canales. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now adjourned. Thanks, folks.